Do you think a total loser could seduce the prettiest girl in school? This recap is about the movie, I Love You, Beth Cooper. The story takes place on high school senior night. Here, we are introduced to the main character named Dennis. He is a loser and a nerd who is hopelessly in love with the hottest girl in school. Dennis recalls his conversation with his best friend, Rich. Rich advises him to confess his feelings. Otherwise, he will regret not doing so for the rest of his life. Gathering up his courage, Dennis takes the stage and gives a farewell speech at prom. He confesses his love to Beth Cooper, his classmate. Beth is very surprised. Dennis suggests that everyone confess what they are hiding, whether it's mental problems, anorexia, or non-traditional orientation. The graduates go outside, take pictures, and congratulate each other. One of the teachers scolds Dennis for his unplanned speech but recalls her own experience of being in love. Then, Dennis sees Beth Cooper heading towards him. She takes off her graduation gown, revealing only a revealing top and short shorts underneath. Dennis invites her to a party at his house. Beth promises to think about it, but it's clear that she isn't very interested in the proposal from the local loser. Shortly after, her friends show up and confront Dennis aggressively. Kevin, one of them, is Beth's boyfriend. He pushes Dennis to the ground and threatens him with violence. A teacher intervenes to help Dennis, and Kevin leaves him alone. Dennis and his friend go home and chat about various topics. Dennis prepares for the party, arranging things and setting up drinks and snacks on the table. He becomes excited and starts sweating, eventually taking off his shirt to cool down. Dennis's parents enter the scene, straightening his pants and advising him to change his underwear. They leave him with 21 bottles of champagne and wish him a fun time. Then the anticipated moment arrives. The guys stand outside, waiting for Beth. Suddenly, they notice a blue car speeding towards their house. The car door opens, and Beth, wearing an open red dress, gets out along with her beautiful friends. The girls enter the house and realize that Dennis and Rich are the only ones at the party. The guys offer snacks and try to strike up a conversation, but they struggle. Beth and her friends become bored. The guys decide to bring out the champagne. While Dennis is opening a bottle, Rich discovers rubber in the nightstand. He brings them to the living room, but as the champagne cork pops, it hits Dennis in the head. Beth places a cookie from the refrigerator on his black eye and reassures him that it's not his fault. However, all the guys feel completely hopeless. Beth sits on top of Dennis, embarrassing him, while having fun herself. She inflates a balloon with the rubbers and they are about to leave. At the same time, the guys notice another car approaching Dennis's house. It's Kevin and his friends, and they park on the lawn. One of Beth's friends opens the door joyfully and invites the boys inside. Dennis panics and pulls her inside, pleading not to open the door, as Kevin would harm him. Dennis frantically runs around the house, closing the windows. However, one door remains open, allowing Beth's boyfriend to enter. Kevin throws a vase at the wall and grabs a champagne bottle, launching it at Dennis, who miraculously dodges it. Kevin continues throwing bottles and even a microwave. Dennis and Rich attempt to escape, going upstairs to search for something to defend themselves. They stumble upon a Jedi lightsaber, considering it better than nothing. Kevin forcefully kicks open the door, and Dennis points the lightsaber at him. Unfazed, Kevin tears off the hands of a skeleton standing in our hero's room and wields them as weapons. A fight ensues between the two. Rich, who had been hiding in the closet, finally emerges and jumps out the window. Kevin pins Dennis against the wall, but Beth comes to the rescue. She enters the room and destroys the skeleton's skull, and hits Kevin over the head with it. With all her might, the boy falls down while Dennis climbs to the roof through the open window. But Kevin quickly comes back to his senses, grabbing the lightsaber and throwing Dennis off the roof. The guy falls straight into the rose bushes. Their prickly thorns dig into his hands and face. It really hurts. Dennis crawls over to Rich, who is lying next to him. Luckily, both guys are relatively unharmed and keep on running. They jump over the fence and hide. Kevin and his buddies go looking for them. Dennis runs out onto the road, where he gets hit by a car driven by Beth. The girl and her friends drag the boy into the car. Rich gets into the car to go with them too. The car quickly starts moving. Kevin and his gang try to catch up with them, but they fail. Our heroes are saved, although, Considering the way Beth drives, we can't be totally sure of that. Dennis asks Beth for the phone to call his parents, but they're having a romantic date in their car at the moment, so Dad doesn't pick up the phone. Suddenly, Beth realizes that Kevin can track her via GPS and throws her cell phone out of the window. The guys turn on the music and start singing and having fun. They arrive at the gas station to buy beers and chips. The cashier refuses to sell alcohol to Minus, but Beth promises to give him a passionate kiss if he does. This behavior of the girl he loves really upsets Dennis. The company stops on the side of the road, builds a fire, and opens beer bottles. Beth does it with her teeth. Dennis tries to repeat after her and breaks one of his last baby teeth. Beth's friend, along with Rich, decides to go on a walk and find a pasture with cows. They get close, and Rich steps into a cow dunk petting. Left alone, Dennis and Beth talk about their plans for the future. At this time, Rich and Beth's friends are pushing a cow. That's right, they wanted to see if they could flip it, and of course, they can't do it. And suddenly, they get attacked by a herd of cows, and they have to run away. The guys hit the road again, and Beth, as usual, drives simply terribly. She even turns off the headlights and crashes into a car. In a few moments, they realize that this is the car of Dennis's dad and mom. While Dennis's dad pulls up his pants, Beth and the guys quickly drive away. They arrive at another local stars party. Then they find a huge crowd and unbridled fun. The pool is full of hotties splashing around, and Beth and her friends get immediately surrounded by a crowd of guys. Dennis is trying to find a bathroom when Greg, one of his classmates, who is a bully, grabs him and drags him into an empty room. Dennis thinks he's going to beat him up, but Greg starts crying right on Dennis's chest. It turns out that this big guy has serious mental problems. Dennis goes into the common hall and, along with Rich, picks up some snacks. They meet some girls, and they tell Dennis that Kevin is here too. The guys realize that they need to run. Unfortunately, they don't manage to escape. Kevin and his buddies surround Dennis and drag him into the living room, where they start kicking him like a ball. The football coach announces the start of the fight, and Dennis refuses to fight. He admits defeat but still gets punched in the face. Suddenly, we see Greg appearing in the living room. Seeing that Dennis is getting beaten, he rushes to help him and knocks out both Kevin and his mates. What's more, he even knocks out the football coach. Kevin gets up and rushes to Greg. A few punches make the big guy fall on the floor. Kevin comes to Dennis. The boy realizes that he doesn't have a chance, but suddenly everyone notices something unbelievable. The living room window gets wrecked by a car, and we see Beth getting out and telling Dennis to come with her. And the battered guy leaves the party together with his dream girl. Beth's friends, and Rich, of course, join them too. They initiate a mad race across the city. The car pulls up in front of the school. Beth takes out her keys, and the guys get inside. In the gym, the girls put on a real show for the guys. They dance and sing as they have done many times before, as cheerleaders for the local soccer team. Dennis smiles but suddenly notices tears in Beth's eyes. The girls run to the shower. Dennis sneaks in after them and sees that they are wearing towels only. But the girls aren't shy about it at all. Beth throws off her towel. The boy is completely embarrassed. The girls offer the boys to go for a swim with them. Dennis sees Beth's underwear on the bench and decides to seize the moment. He starts undressing, and suddenly Kevin and his buddies enter the locker room. One punch and the boy is on the floor. Rich rushes over to help him and hits the bullies with a wet towel right in the groin. Here we find out that he's been training since he was a kid to learn how to use a towel as a real weapon. As the guys continue the towel battle, Dennis and Beth, as well as their friends, are trying to escape. Rich has no equal in the battle. He throws the bullies in all directions and pops out into the street in just a towel. There he sees his friends already waiting for him. They are going through the town, trying to figure out what to do next. Dennis has tampons shoved up in his nose to stop the bleeding. Beth says that he stinks and asks him to take off his shirt and then accidentally throws it out of the car window. They stop to look for it, and the whole company sees Dennis's underwear. It looks hilarious, which makes everyone burst into laughter. Beth wraps the guy in her pink point show. Together they go on a search for a shirt, and then they've got it. But suddenly, they notice an evil raccoon, so they quickly run away from it in terror. The friends arrive at Beth's friend's house, which is full of creepy stuffed animals. The guys fill their glasses with spirits and toast to the best night ever. Dennis and Beth go outside to meet at the dawn, chatting about life. They make it all the way to the pier. Meanwhile, Rich is having fun with Beth's friends. He sits down between them and feels like a real king of life. The girls begin to seduce him. They sweetly lick the cookies and unbutton his shirt. The guy is unable to resist, but everything happens too fast, so the girls look a bit disappointed. While the sunrise is very beautiful indeed, Dennis confesses that he still loves Beth, although she turned out to be nothing like he imagined. Here they share their first kiss. The next morning, we see Dennis's parents cleaning up the mess in their house. At the same time, they notice a car pulling up to their house. They see Dennis, Rich, Beth, and her friends getting out of it. The boy's father isn't too happy about the mess, but what's really important to him is that his son had a good time. Dennis and Beth say goodbye and wish each other good luck. The girl passionately kisses the boy and thanks him for his love. They agree to meet many years from now on at the meeting of graduates and get married if both are single by then. So, here was the story of high school romance. Enjoyed our recap? Then thank us with your likes and subscribe to the channel.